Oh man, nice to be back home in Japan. I had a lot of fun in my 2 weeks in America, and I only gained around 20 pounds. Anyway, I've been up for about 27 hours, so I gotta keep busy so I get this Jellic pass. So in the meantime, I think we're gonna play Octopath. Oh. 8 characters, 8 stories, 1 game cartridge. This is Octopath Traveler for the Nintendo Switch. I've talked about this game briefly, but I've put more time into Octopath, and I feel pretty comfortable about talking about this wonderful game in more detail. Pro tip for life: if you have 2 12-hour flights ahead of you, I recommend a long-ass RPG on the Nintendo Switch to pass the time, you know? I want this review to be positive, so I'm going to knock my problems of the game out the way first. For one, the plots for each character I personally couldn't get into, with the exception of Primrose. I found Primrose's fall from grace and her character arc to be the most interesting of the stories, while everyone else I just kind of tuned out of. Oh boy, Tressa wants to be an entrepreneur. Therion learns how to have friends. Alphen loses his V-card. Cyrus is looking for the Necronomicon. Meh. Things do evolve and get more interesting as the plots go on, but honestly, I checked out fairly early on. There's little interaction between the 8 heroes beyond some optional banter, and even in the final dungeon, there's no real unity between the 8 heroes. Some parts of the story just get plain absurd. There's one point where one of the main characters gets seriously wounded, and despite having 2 healers in the team, no one helps this character out. It seems like the characters joined up because they were just at the right place at the right time and happened to have a weapon with them. In terms of gameplay, random encounters are just a bit too high for my taste, unless you're using passive skills. I mean, yeah, it's nice for grinding, but when you're trying to backtrack and go to those early levels to clear out some of those early side quests you missed, it gets really repetitive trying to kill low-level scrubs. And lastly, Hannes' English got really grating after Chapter 1.
But even the best of them would only get in his way.
Okay, my negatives out the way. Now let's ease in and praise Octopath Traveler, because really, this is one of the best games to come out this year. Why is that? Is Square buying out the reviewers with cheap pink salon handjobs? No, Octopath Traveler is just that awesome. It's a combination of the solid art, the solid combat, the design of the game, and the music that makes Octopath so amazing. And I could end the review right there, but that would do this game such an injustice. You start by picking one of 8 characters and roam the land solving your problems and the problems of others. You expand your party and listen to the fantastic music. My starting character was Olberic, a knight who takes a dicking and keeps on ticking. He dishes out huge damage and can take just as much. Additionally, he can challenge random people on the streets for a quick EXP boost. Take that, pregnant woman. Your other characters include Cyrus, the scholar that destroys the battlefield with huge area of effect spells and makes the women wetter than a fish in a fountain. Tressa, the merchant who keeps the pockets full and the spirits high. Ophelia, the cleric. She cleans the battlefield and keeps the party nice and healthy. Primrose is the dancer who knows how to spend a good night out with some nice buffs and some dark spells to boot. Alphen is the apothecary who heals the team and can mix some gnarly drinks to kill opposition, like my monster and snake Sake Bomb. Therion is an asshole who steals without remorse and is the only person who can open locked chests. And Hannet, the Pokemon trainer who failed English. In hindsight, I should have went with Therion as my starter character, as stealing is cool, kids, and being able to open locked chests is, mighty useful. After clearing Chapter 1 for all the characters, I highly recommend going around and finding the extra jobs for each character. All the extra jobs do is gives your character double the skills to use in battle, and it should go without saying that it is very helpful. Much like a good mixed drink, I try to keep like with like. That's why my monster and snake Sake Bomb resulted in me hurling in the toilet praying for death. Giving Olberic apothecary skills was a great move so he can heal himself for cheap and poison enemies, making his damage output even more versatile. Seeing as Cyrus and Ophelia are in the same boat of wizards, they both share the same classes. Therion is a merchant because his hat is really cute. Experimentation is the key to success in Octopath. If a boss is tough, try switching out your party members and try again. That said, do not punch above your own weight in Octopath. You will get crushed many, many times. Go in one of the caves to train for the end bosses, which will require some serious thinking to get through in one piece. And honestly speaking, there's not much more to add here. Octopath is fantastic. The art style is great. The voice acting is way better than it needed to be. and more importantly, it's just old school fun. And with RPGs seeing a resurgence in the past few years with big AAA titles with Final Fantasy 15, Persona 5, the Xenoblade Chronicles X, it's nice to have a throwback game that is contemporary, old school, and more importantly, timeless.
No! My blade is unbending! I wreak havoc upon thee! With each battle, I grow stronger.
Man. Jet lag. It's one hell of a drug. Anyway, Octopath Traveler. This is definitely one for the ages. Definitely one of the best games on the Nintendo Switch. Definitely one of the best JRPGs I've played in years, even though Persona 5 and Xenoblade Chronicles X were also really good. And despite all of my problems with the game, it's still a fantastic experience for all involved. This is an easy 9 out of 10 in my book, and I can guarantee you right now, Octopath Traveler has a spot on my top 10 of 2018. I hope this inspires Square to do more traditional JRPGs. Maybe give us a new Bravely game on the Switch. Give us a new Chrono game. Give us a proper Mario RPG game instead of those whack-ass Paper Mario games we've been getting these past few years. I'm running out of breath. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go back to recovering from my jet lag, and I'll see you on the next episode of The Z-Man Show. Later, everybody.